Let's get it started up. Give me the car keys. Lakeshore Drive. Blog boys drive away with our texts like car thieves. Break down, we study tape and thrive.
Analytical preparation, that's what cause is given. Cars don't discriminate, teaching the men and women. Each and every week, there's nerd to get your focus. Never manipulating stats, lore, cars and hocus pocus. Cars, keys, they're never lost. Checking source, never gonna find a better scouting report. Cars going live with the smartest man, my bestie. Deciphering holes on the defense like Getsy. New show, uniforms, orange with the dark sea. Tape never lies, patrons, this is Cars
You know
Keys.
it's Cars Keys. Let's get it started up. Give me the car keys. Lakeshore Drive. Blog boys drive away with our texts like car thieves. Break down, we study tape and thrive. We gotta break down tape like detectives. No hot takes, just real football perspectives. The Bears nerd dropping science on his terms. TTNL giving Bears press like a perm. Other networks is off with the heads. Stats plus film equals football thread. Analysis like data 10 tries to shred. McCaskey's letting me cake, we keep the 100 crew fed. Cars keys, let's get it started up. Give me the car keys. Lakeshore Drive. Blog boys drive away with our texts like car thieves. Break down, we study tape and thrive. Lord Hines in his car, fill up a goblet. Lord Hines in his car, fill up a goblet.
This is Cars Keys Season 4, Episode 62. The first place Chicago Bears. How's that sound? It's been a while. I think we should stay here for a little bit. What do you guys think? Let me go grab my guy and we're going to talk some first place football. Let's go. Mr. Karstensen, how does it feel to be in first place?
I don't know how to really feel about it. I think we've talked about it last week. It feels really good. It's not that I don't think they're not trying to win, but I think winning is purely sort of accidental as they grow here. Yeah. And so the fact that, like, I think what blows my mind the most, Shane, and I'm sure you're probably in the same thing, is like, not only are we winning and in first place and starting to get accolades, but like Packers fans have turned on LaFleur and Love.
Yeah.
Vikings fans have turned on KOC and JJ. I'm sorry, 9. And which he had a very 9/11 performance, let's not lie.
Don't piss him off, yeah.
And then, you're starting to see Detroit fans, especially after the fourth down extravaganza or failure of an extravaganza last week, that you see some Detroit fans starting to sour a little bit more on Campbell. So it's really weird that, let's be honest, they're all going to be back next year as head coaches. But it's really weird. Not only are we first, but potentially we have the favorite for head coach of this division.
Yeah, and we talked about it last night with Matt Waldman on keeping it 100 and just the situation. When you're talking quarterback, head coach moving forward, I'm not switching out our guys for anybody else's guys.
Oh,
in those positions. And listen, this isn't just to say that everything is sunshine and rainbows. This roster is it's you can say flawed because it's not ready yet. We aren't where we need to be.
It is bottom 5 in defensive talent.
Yeah.
And I think bottom 5 is even generous. Like there's us, there's the Bengals. So yeah, like that's bottom 2 probably.
And just the fact, Cars, the pass rush itself it's just non-existent. Going back and watching the tape and listen, I understand who and what Montez Sweat is and where he's at in his career. It's so weird, whenever you looked at Montez Sweat when he came into the league when he was at Washington, and kind of even his first year here, when he got traded, he's just it's almost like he's a power rusher now. And he's not that athletic freak, that we were so used to. And it's just, but beyond that, it's just barren with guys that are going to, I don't even want to use the word consistently. There's no pass rush.
I think you nailed it with the Sweat as being just it's one of the quietest 5.5 sack seasons I think that you'll ever have it, and that's quite honestly after it's picked up a little bit, right? Because through Washington he had 1 sack, and then over the last 5 games he's got 4.5. So you're like, holy shit. And you see certain things like, Dexter has some pieces here and there, but let's be the failure here was that Dio has not done anything. Grady Jarrett has not done anything. Austin Booker has flashed more than anybody else on that defensive line. I think it's a shame that Turner got injured because I was liking what I was seeing out of him. But you don't win a whole lot if you don't win up front. And even if you had 1 pass rusher, just 1, it would make a world of difference. And I think this goes back to why you beat up on him all the time is that like you just need 1 and he refuses to even try to really get 1.
I'm still going to beat the drum. Braden Swinson sitting right there on the practice squad in New England. Take a chance. Bring him. You have nothing to lose. It's not like we don't have the guys that are expendable on this roster. You know what I mean? That's the thing. But I mean, we all know that, and I know you got a couple of things there we're going to get into. But I brought this up with Matt Waldman last night, and I want to get your thoughts on it, Cars. The night of the draft, I was very vocal. Phil was very vocal. We all were. We understand the talent of who Colston Loveland is and what he can become. We just didn't like the process of how you got there, being a 5-win team, going going tight end in the top 10, all of that. And, I've really pivoted and admit that I was 100% wrong on how they approached it, and probably that it was all on Ben. So let me know what you think about this. I think Ben really is the forward. He's the guy that's playing chess and not checkers. He's thinking 10 moves ahead, and he realizes that bringing in a defensive end wasn't going to make the overall impact that he really needed, because number one, the quarterback isn't where he needs to be yet, or where he wants him to be yet. There's still a lot of growth to go. And this is more so about 2026 and 2027 when they do hit the ground going and make their impact. And that's where a guy like Colston Loveland is going to be worth his weight in gold, because he's going to end up being the best friend of Caleb Williams, and in terms of on field. A good tight end is your quarterback's best friend. And I think,
unless you're Geno Smith.
Yeah, exactly. But I think he was looking at, and Matt Waldman brought up a great point, was we understand, defensive ends, you can get them. It's not that there has to be a ton of development once you get them in there, because it's a lot of times it's see quarterback, get quarterback.
Right.
Tight end is one of the unheralded positions where it takes, and I know you did a little bit of a breakdown that included Mark Andrews at one point and all of that, where it takes at least a minimum of 2, usually 3 years for these guys to break out. And that's going to fall right in that time frame, kind of what Ben Johnson is, where their arrival is going to be announced to everybody. So it's like right now you're playing kind of with house money at 7-3, and you're very, very far from a finished product.
So I think overall, what I have said is that I really enjoyed the player.
Yeah.
I didn't like the position of where he went, and that's neither. It's not really here nor there, right? Like it just
Mm-hmm.
it's just what it is. But I think if you go back and look, the pass rushers from this past draft
Yeah.
have not really been able to accomplish anything. Like Abdul, if you want to talk about massive swing and misses right now,
I think he's got a half a sack, right?
half. And he
Yeah.
just got, in trouble for basically sleeping in meetings, and he's fighting with people over sleeping with meetings. But Michael Williams was not very dominant. I know
And towards
Jalen,
ACL.
yep, and towards the ACL. I know Jalen Walker had one decent game. Uh, Walter Nolan has been injured. Shamar Stewart, his highlight is getting pancaked by by
Yeah.
our guy.
Yeah.
You look at James Pierce, right? The whole reason the Falcons don't have a first round pick next year, even though they have a travesty of a pick, is because they traded in to get him.
Yeah.
He has been nothing. And then you kind of go through. And so, yeah, like the positions really just haven't been there. So you understand. And I think when I say at the beginning of this that the Bears are sort of winning by accident, it's just what you said. They aren't really focused on this year. This year is laying the groundwork, at least offensively,
Yep.
for what it is that they want to do. And then defensively, they've got to figure out the players that are going to be here. And so, yeah, I think all of this was about doing everything that they can to help number 18 and solidify that. And you're seeing again, I think when a big play needs to be made
Yeah.
in a tight game, it's going to Colston or it's going to Luther Burden, right? And I think there's a lot of value in that. But you brought up a really good point. Mark Andrews, year 1, 552 yards to 852, right? Went from 3 touchdowns to 10. Kelsey didn't play a game his rookie season.
Yeah.
Did a single thing. And year 2, it's 67 for 862. There's all these other kind of tight ends that you can look at and notice that period where who was it? Kittle went from 515 to 1,300 yards from year 1 to year 2. So you have to expect this massive leap, and that's going to settle everything down for year 2. So yeah, hindsight being 2020, I still think it's okay to be unhappy with the process of how it led there. I think it would have made more sense if we could have to move down a few slots and still get him or something along those lines. But in the end, if he's the player that they think so, and I think you got to put a lot of weight into Ben very
100%.
enthusiastically saying he's everything we hoped we wanted and more.
Yep.
I think we do have to give him a little bit of that benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and Hendricks talks about it a little bit. So many teams wanted to move up for Loveland, and going down and getting Tyler Warren isn't the guy that Ben Johnson wanted. That is the separator there. He wanted Colston Loveland. And he wanted him enough that the extra asset didn't intrigue him. Clearly. Because, Ian Rappaport talked about it on draft night. The phones were ringing like crazy within the top 10. And when the Bears took Colston Loveland, the phones stopped ringing. So that was the guy, and one of the main teams was the Rams trying to move up. They tried the same thing last year with Brock Bowers, and it didn't work out for him. But
And I think
that's
you
yeah,
got to remember, right? Loveland is 2 years younger than Tyler Warren.
oh yeah,
So, he's still ascending. And I think it is very interesting. You look at you mentioned McVay, right? This
yep,
year, where are they having tremendous success?
yep,
13 personnel, which is something that he had never run
yep,
really in any bit. And now he's basically running the amount of plays in a week
yeah.
in 13 than he did in an entire season before.
And even beyond the age cars, when you're talking about Colston Loveland, I mean, there was games while JJ was there the year they won the title. They have a game where they did not pass the football.
Uh, they- I think we're seeing why, if that's
Yeah,
the case. I mean, they were so good running the ball with Blake Corum and everybody else that they basically passed the ball simply by accident.
yep,
And you saw it that next year, right? When the talent was so much less, so much less. But he was still someone that stands out. We've hammered a lot of people for drops. We haven't hammered Colston.
yeah.
His blocking has been much, much better than I think our
Then
expectations were.
expected, yeah,
And,
yeah.
and so
Waldman pointed that out last night, and it is. I
there's
mean,
something
it's
about Mats that really say some intelligence things. Let's be honest.
debatable, but yeah,
Not really, not really. But no, I think that's what makes this year so interesting for me, Shane. I'm high stress watching this, but I
mhm.
only really care about the offense. I don't I find myself getting frustrated and disappointed with the defense, but then it's like, okay, it's over. Let's go see what our offense goes ahead and
Well,
does.
if you go back, cars, and then I mean, this is something that we can do. Obviously, we have the ability to do it. I'm pretty sure both of you and I, when we were talking about this season, everybody loves the look ahead and season predictions and are we going to make the playoffs and all of that. I'm pretty positive we were on these airwaves and said, you know, far and away the most important thing this year is that the arrow for your quarterback and for your offense is pointed up. That, and
That's the winning season.
yeah. And not only is it pointing up, has there been a lot of bumps in the road? Yes. Of course there has been. Is it pointing up? Yes. And you're winning on top of it. That's the thing that is different.
Well, even take it the step further. We're winning games that we normally
Oh,
lose.
yeah. Well,
Like
that's
not
why
even in the tight, like even though
yeah.
they're tight, these something goes wrong. Take that Minnesota game for instance.
Yeah.
We lose the lead.
Oh yeah.
Usually what happens, right? That next returning kickoff, we fumble the ball and
Yep.
they get it and they score. And so it goes from like a 1 score to a 2 score
Or
like
you get
that.
tackled at the 15.
Yeah. And you're just like, what are we doing? And so I always remember it was always Dan Wiederer who was always asking Matt Eberflus, how do you learn to win when you're losing? Like we
Yeah.
talk a lot about like how do you and Matt was always like, well, you got to be in the place to win. You got to be close. You have to have your opportunities, and that's part of the answer. You do have to be close, but the other part of this is actually doing whatever the hell it takes to win those games. And the Minnesota game, why did that happen? Because as much as we want to shit all over Richard Hightower, he also recognized something that was happening every time in Minnesota's kicks, and he didn't do it until that last one. And they recognized that it was over pursuit
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, and it was blocked up
Incredibly well.
absolutely. And that's the thing. And there's people out there that are giving all the credit to Devin Duvernay, and it's the credit doesn't go to Devin Duvernay.
No, it goes to Hightower.
Yeah, it goes to Hightower, and it goes to the guys blocking it up. And even Minnesota's special teams coach said anybody could have hit that return.
Yeah.
He wasn't taking a shot at Duvernay. It's
No,
just because
how well it was blocked.
he got out coached, and our guys blocked it up perfectly.
I think, Shane, if our season, let's just reverse it. If our season was going like Minnesota's was,
Yeah.
or is this year, which has been most of our careers, where the defense is playing well and the offense looks like hot, stinky garbage.
Yep.
This would be one of the most depressing years
Would be.
that we could ever have, because you wait, and we've been here. You know, you wait, you tank, and you're like, all right, we got our quarterback. Let's hope it's the guy. And then you get to the week, and you're like, shit, I don't think this is the guy. I don't think, or I'm hoping against hope, and I'm looking for little things. And you just are seeing enough of flashes, and it's not consistent. He's got a lot of drops. You're still seeing these wideouts, especially DJ and Rome, kind of break things off early. Yep. It's why there's trust in Colston. And so, yeah, you just kind of look at this and you go, you know what? This is moving in the right direction. It's not ideal. But again, if any of us were looking at this and said, hey, through 10 weeks, we would be the 4th best offense in yards. We'd be the 8th best in scoring. We'd be number 2 in rushing.
Yeah.
We would, have all of this. We would be number 1 in turnovers on defense without a pass rush.
Yeah.
All of these little things check these boxes. And, we used to make fun of massively club dub, right?
Yeah.
It's club dub. We're going to go do this. We're going to do this. You know what? As corny as it is, that good, better, best thing.
Yep.
It's hit.
But I think the biggest difference to me, and you can, if you disagree, go ahead and disagree. I think the biggest difference for me with the club dub versus the good, better, best is who's doing it. This is all from the head coach. And I know Matt Nagy was involved, but it was more so about, the song and the lights. This is all you let's be honest. The leader of this franchise right now is Ben Johnson.
And Caleb's, the team.
Yep.
But to take that a step further.
Yeah.
Because much like what happened with Matt Eberflus, where they took on that identity, they have taken on Ben's identity.
Yeah. Yep. And that's the thing, Cars. And I said they have some video of him walking off the field and into the tunnel in Minnesota. And he's 7-3 as a rookie head coach. You just got a division win on the road from a team that stole one from you in week 1 in your debut. And he's stone-faced while he's walking through there. And he walks into the locker room, and then you see it. Then he opens up, and it's the good, better, best. And it does sound corny, but the enthusiasm and the fever pitch that he puts into it, I completely understand why these guys, listen, the good, better, best thing is not why the guys are buying into Ben Johnson. They're around him every day. There was a point where we said to ourselves, and I'm sure it's in our text thread or on one of these shows, we're like, man, if we could just get this offense to the middle of the pack, how insane that would be. And what did you just say? Where are we at?
We're number 4 in points.
Yeah. in that Cars, that's with upheaval at left tackle. That was with
Injuries to our number
yeah.
one running back.
Yep.
You know, Shane, let's talk about that Minnesota game.
Yeah.
Flores blitzed 78%
Yeah.
of the time. And so that tells you two different things. One is they completely do not trust JJ. And so they knew
that's
they
pretty
had to
clear.
be
Yeah.
aggressive
Yeah.
in order to overset that. But two, they were genuinely afraid of Caleb Williams and everything that he can do. And when you liken this to the prior year, which was the game where Carm's best friend was playing quarterback, and we barely could score.
Yeah.
Right after that got injured. That's exactly what we sort of faced this last time.
Yeah.
Wasn't because they were afraid of him, but they were just like, screw it, we're gonna blitz and we're gonna blitz and we're gonna blitz. Us finding a way through that, and look, you call those kind of kitchen sink games
Sure.
where the defense throws. The vast majority of those blitz looks were unscouted, unseen blitz looks because Flores was just like, I have no idea what else to do. I don't trust any of my defensive backs. I don't have Grenard. And then he watched Dallas Turner, who, by the way, another failed pass rushing draft pick, try to sack this guy multiple times and fail on it. So he's like, fine. It's kind of the old Buddy Ryan, right? Where Buddy Ryan used to say, if I can't get pressure on you at 4, fine, I'll send 6. If I can't get you at 6, I'll send 8.
Yep.
Those games are incredibly difficult to score unless you break something or there's a complete collapse. And Flores is not as egotistical as Buddy Ryan is to allow a Miami Dolphins game like in the 85 season. But for us to still score the amount of points that we did, for us to still get to 265 yards of offense while they were blitzing, because that blitzing screwed up our run game tremendously as well.
Yeah, and what was the time of possession was severely slanted too, correct?
I can't even remember, but yeah, I think it was. Let me look. I'm looking real quick. Yeah, we had the ball for 37 minutes.
Yeah.
As compared to 23. Like, one of the greatest drives we will ever understand from this season and will not get the fanfare that it should, but that 15 play drive that put us up 7, that sucked the wind out of everything.
Did.
And so you kind of look at this and you just keep going, this guy, even when it's a kitchen sink game and they're throwing everything with all these unscouted looks and it's super hard to tell and they're taking all these risks, we still scored. We still moved the ball. Yes, we ran into issues, and it wasn't perfect, but to your point, you just see the arrow pushing up and up and up, and it's super encouraging for where we are in this season to see all of that.
100%, man. And I said, you're 10 games in. There's still a lot of season left, and you're still in year 1. You get through these next 7 games, and if you're in a position to make the playoffs, even better. But you're still in year 1 of this system in Cars. I mean, Jared Goff said something like what was it, like 4 years or something like that for him to finally to fully figure it out. And that's why I laugh at all these beat reporters and everybody that got so excited about charting every pass in training camp and got so fixated on that 70% completion percentage. That was a goal. It was never a mandate. It was a goal. And by the way, Jared Goff never hit that until year 9, which it was in 2024, year 3 under Ben Johnson. And they're worried about Caleb Williams doing it in training camp in week 1 with Ben Johnson. It's none of it makes sense. It's embarrassingly bad. And I understand hey, they're professionals, right? They're professionals. They're getting paid to do this. They're there every day, and charting passes in training camp is dumb. You don't know the context. Go back and watch 1920 football drive. There was a play. All right, guys, it's 3rd down. Ben Johnson goes up to Caleb and said, I want this to go here to the back of the end zone to roam no matter what. That's where it goes. And if you're a beat reporter, he forces that in there. What are you doing? You're going to chart it that it was a negative play for Caleb Williams, and you have zero context. None. And then people run with it. That's the thing. It drives me nuts.
The one that I use in this example for Caleb, because I think height-wise it somewhat lines up, is it took Drew Brees until year 3 for him to average 65% completion percentage.
Yeah.
And so some of this, it is all of that. And I think we're in such a rush sometimes to crown someone.
Yeah, it's
The
that's
next best thing.
we're
We're doing this with Drake May right now.
100%.
We did it, and you'd think we would have learned because we did it last year with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And so what, and the reason I'm going down this kind of path is, what did Cliff do for Jaden? He sat down and he moved the pocket a tremendous amount of the time, took away half the field.
Yeah.
He did a lot of short passing games, but then he kept him in with designed runs to keep everything trustful, like all the defense to keep him honest. Well, what happened in year 2? All the defenses adjusted, and Cliff, when it came time to it, couldn't figure out a way to fully unlock it. Like, we kept hearing, oh, he's making all these.
It was
full
almost
field reads.
like that was the same thing that happened in Arizona when he was there, right?
It's weird how that happens. And look, I don't want to take away from Drake May's season at all, but when you're looking at like, hey man, great, you've beaten the New York Jets, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Cleveland, Tennessee, New Orleans. Your good victory is Buffalo. You beat Carolina, and you've beaten Miami. This is not like a list of defenses that you sit down and you go, holy crap, like he's carving these things up. And what's happening? They're simplifying the offense. They're doing a lot of different things. You got to remember, there's a lot of new talent here. It's very similar to CJ Stroud, right? Where you're just throwing everything in there and you're going to figure it out. Next season, it's going to look different. Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels did not take the step from year 1 to year 2. They regressed. What we've heard from Ben when he talks about Caleb is, I'm not doing anything to make this easy on him. I'm not doing RPOs. I'm not doing, anything other than just lining up the way that I would call this as it were Jared Goff. The plays are different because we're playing to the strengths of Caleb. But basically, he's just calling the plays as he would in year 4 for Caleb. This is all we get him.
Yeah, he talked about it. They're feeding him with a fire hose.
Oh,
and then they're going to see what he can digest. And that's a big part of development. And listen, while you're doing that, a head football coach is pretty much exactly like a teacher. You can pick up pretty quick whether the person or the quarterback or the student can handle it. You can tell that pretty quickly, within the classroom and while you're not even out on the field playing another team.
You said this about Shane Matthews when Cade McNown came in, and he threw 2 passes, and he's like, this guy can't throw a football.
First practice, first mini camp after they drafted him, 12th overall in 1999. Shane Matthews, go back and watch. I'm keeping it 100. Shane Matthews goes, that's the guy we drafted. He can't fucking play. Same type of deal, Cars. I was talking to Cap. They were at camp the year that the Bears drafted Joaquin Iglesias out of Oklahoma, the wide receiver.
Yep.
Waddle walked out onto the practice field and said, I think he was number 17, maybe. Who's 17? Said to Cap. And he goes, oh, that's Iglesias. That was our third rounder. And he's like, can't play. He was out there for 10 minutes.
It's mind-blowing. It was like we talked this year quite a bit when, it was Shaheen and Cohen, and all the people are like trying to talk about Shaheen, and all the players are like, did you see Tariq? Did you see Tariq? Did you see
Yeah.
they couldn't get hyped over Shaheen, who tripped over the paint on the goal line and would get injured.
Lurch.
Right?
Yep.
The Chipotle King. So no, I think it's really fascinating to watch this as the season has progressed, because I think with as bad as it looks at certain points, and there are more stall outs than we want,
Sure.
but we stay in games because Ben stays true to who he is. How many times have we sat down and been like, just run the fucking football?
Yeah.
And what does this guy do? He runs the fucking football. When the game is tight, doesn't go away from
it. He might run it on 3rd and 7. We've seen it multiple times. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6.
And why? Because he knows there's a good chance with one of the most explosive rush offenses in the league. He knows that they can do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, as much grief as I gave him live, the Travis Homer play, there was 2 face masks on that play.
Mm-hmm.
But had Jonah Jackson done his job on that play, it was blocked up beautifully, and they would have sprung it.
It's going to be insane.
Yeah, they would have sprung it. And that's the thing. And listen, I get on fans, for being reactionary, but I'm just as guilty of it. And that is why TV broadcast copies or taking screenshots of TV broadcast copies don't tell you anything. I don't want to say they don't tell you anything. They tell you very, very little. But you were one issue away with Jonah Jackson not doing his job from Ben
looking
on
like
a
a
third
genius.
down critical call, looking like you said, looking like a genius.
It was like the
Travis Homer.
It was like the Roshan Johnson one, right? Where he doesn't play. All of a sudden he goes in and he goes for 11. And you're like, holy crap.
Now this, I still hate that it was Travis Homer in that situation, but I think that's part of the thing with Ben is Minnesota sees it's Travis Homer and they're like, all right, they ain't running this fucking ball.
Yeah.
That's part of it. I don't love that part of it. I don't think he should be on the roster, and we don't need to get into that. But it is what it is. But it's going to be interesting, Cars, because you brought up to see who's going to be on this roster, especially defensively. I think it's going to look a lot different.
I think this team is going to look a lot more different than we even realize. And look, I like even to a degree on offense.
Sure.
I think people are going to move because they're seeing enough of some of these guys that they're going to want them to show out more. Like I think it's a big deal when we look at Ja'Day Walker. when it's Ja'Day Walker that he made this team when they wasn't supposed to.
Right.
And so you kind of just keep looking through this and understanding, Manungai has been phenomenal. Has been a lot of fun. God, is he fun the way that he physically that he can go. And I just think that I think you're right. You're gonna see there's a lot of things that they can move in cap wise that or like what we talked about with Komet last week, like that they extend him but lower his overall cap number and get him to stay there.
Right.
Is just this team is gonna look so much different. And I think there's gonna be a lot more moves. A lot more moves than what they think. And I'm gonna highlight this. I think there is no chance that they will draft Jeremiah Love. You just can't
It's
do it.
nothing against the player, Gervon. It's not. It's you cannot and please spare me with the it's Ben Johnson's Jahmyr Gibbs. Stop with that. You cannot
He had
can't.
Jahmyr Gibbs when he had Penei Sewell and Decker and the whole offensive line that was there. And he did this when they also had Aiden Hutchinson already rushing the passer.
He's saying that he thinks that's what they'll do.
I don't think
I don't.
They can't.
Do you want me to give you a surprise when you're talking about changes in names that you don't think will be here next year, Cars? Look up Montez Sweat.
Oh yeah,
his contract.
I think he's someone that they will redo. Because he is he finally comes in a point where they can actually release him next year.
But he's got an out in 2026.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
His cap hit is
Yeah.
25 million, but his dead cap is 8. So you save 17 million.
Yeah.
By doing so. But to me, he's another guy that I could see them going, "Hey, we'll give you another year or 2 on your deal if we just lower this cap number for this year." But I think you're right. Like Tremaine Edmonds is on this list. Cole Kmet is on this list. DJ Moore is on this list.
100%.
And so when you kind of look at, let me just see if I can figure this out. Give me 1 second, because I think this is what's pretty interesting here. When you look at the 2026 season, the Bears are have what 38 players under contract, and you can DJ Moore does have a higher dead cap number, but you can move on from Montez Sweat and save 17 million. You can move on from Jalen Johnson and save 7 million. You can move on from Tremaine Edmonds and save 15 million. And, you can figure out from Cole Kmet and save 8 million. So you're looking at a bunch of players here that you can move or redo or have cap space become available, because you cannot keep paying Montez Sweat 8% of the league cap when he is a middle of the road pass rusher. And with DJ Moore, as much as DJ Moore just is a good receiver, I'm not taking anything away from him, but we've paid him to be a number 1. And I think next year he could be a number 3.
And Matt Waldman said the same thing that I did last night. And he would not. And listen, this is not a shot at Rome. It's more so that I think Luther Burden is just different. I wouldn't be surprised if Luther Burden is the best wide receiver on this team overall next season.
I think your number 1 and number 2 become Luther, and then Colston. And then Rome.
Yeah.
And I just kind of you just kind of get the sense of where this is going.
And where was it? I think it was Bear Truth 9 had a Swift on his. And his, I mean, his isn't prohibitive at all. And I think people are, honestly, I think DeAndre Swift at this point has been dealt a real shitty hand from the fans with how everything looked in the beginning of the year. He's earned a spot to me.
At 8 million, just under 9 million a year. If we want to look at that, that makes him the 11th highest paid running back next year, behind Kamara, not deserved. Jonathan Taylor, deserved. Aaron Jones, not deserved. I like Josh Jacobs, not deserved. Kyron Williams, Christian McCaffrey, Joe Mixon, doesn't deserve it. James Conner, doesn't deserve it. Saquon is 9th on that list. Tony Pollard is 10th. So when you
Yeah.
look at that list of people, right after DeAndre becomes David Montgomery, Ashton Genty, Ramondre Stevenson, Chuba Howard, Jalen Warren, Bijan, Singletary, James Cook, Jordan Mason.
I have no issues with DeAndre Swift, who, oh, by the way, is he still 26 years old?
That'd be
Yes, he's 26.
and something has changed in him this
Yeah.
year because he is dropping his shoulder
He is.
a lot more.
But Cars, it's overall buy-in. Like I said, we talked about it with Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet last year was a guy that was in his own head. And I think it only got worse when the Bears went out and drafted a tight end number 10 overall. But now it's like something has clicked in his brain. He had 5 catches for 45 yards, Cars, and it was one of the very best football games he's ever played in the NFL. And he didn't score a touchdown. He didn't put up massive yards. He ran
everything.
He caught and he ran like a 6'6", 260-pound tight end.
The guy that we've hoped that he would
Yes.
his entire life
Yes,
here.
because he's bought into his role.
And
he sees the vision, I think, because Ben Johnson is a guy that is a forward thinker, and I think he has the ability to have the blank canvas with Cole, and Ben can sit down with the easel and the paints and paint the picture for Cole and say, this is what I see. This is what you can do. I picked the Bears to win 30-21 against the Pittsburgh Steelers this weekend. And my bold prediction was 2 touchdowns from Cole Kmet.
So if we want to talk about coach buy-in, by the way, you can easily say it about with Swift and his improvement, and I think Bieniemy gets a lot of credit for that. But Cole Kmet is doing this, and by the way, he has the same position coach he's had his entire time here. Jim Dre is still his tight end coach. They kept him. So when you say like this difference and being bought in, he's the perfect person. You could tell he was unhappy last year. You could tell a lot of that team was unhappy last year. I think some of that was just little anger and jealousy, right? That Caleb got so much attention.
Yeah.
But this year, same position coach, all that changes is the head coach. And now the guy is buying in. I think and again, it just goes to the culture of what this looks like.
Yeah, and that the numbers that we gave you financially for Swift that's not exorbitant.
It's 2% of the cap.
Yeah. For a 26-year-old running back that is, I mean, what's his yards per carry at this year?
Oh, it's let me look here real quick. It is
5
or
7. Okay, I was going to
7.
say 4.6. Yeah, but I'm not saying that he's a bell cow. I'm not saying that at all. He's a Robin, and that's fine.
That's the point, though. It's fine.
Yeah.
If the Bears could get, somebody else in that position for a later round pick, it's all well and good. But when you look at the stats and who's leading the league, right? Jonathan Taylor was a second round pick.
Mm-hmm.
James Cook was a third. I can't even remember. But you're
I
leading.
think so. I think he was. Yeah, because the other kid was a fourth or fifth. Ray Davis.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Cook was the third round pick.
A-Chain, undrafted, fifth.
No, I think didn't he go in the third round?
Third, but these are not
yeah.
Then you go to Rico Dowdle, Javonte Williams, Derrick Henry was still a second round pick. By the way, seventh, finally Bijan. Eighth, J.K. Dobbins. Ninth, Kyron Williams. 10th, Jahmyr Gibbs. And then you keep going on. McCaffrey is in there. Barkley is in there. Jacobs is in there. But you've still got Breece Hall. You've got Quinshon Judkins this year. Kenneth Walker. All of these guys. You don't need to do that to draft a running back top 10.
Right. And Cars, by the way, the running back that everybody loves, you drafted in round 7. And my guy.
Hey, we used to joke about it all the time when Shanahan was winning in Denver. It was, what was it? Orlando Gary, Terrell Davis. They were all 4th, 5th, 6th rounders.
Who was Jesus Christ, what was his name? The running back. They traded him to Washington for fucking Champ Bailey.
Clinton Portis.
Clinton Portis. Yeah, exactly. For Champ Bailey.
Just insane.
Crazy.
So when you look at it, it's like, at the amount of money that he's gonna stay. He can run, he can catch passes. He's had some really good pass blocking. I understand it's not perfect. But yeah.
He was talking about Devon A-Chain, not A-Train.
I can barely speak today because I've had way too many phone calls this week. But yeah, I think you just look at it and you go, where was he drafted? Yep, third round was A-Chain.
Yeah.
There you go. 84th overall. You just don't need to do it. And you see some of these guys who have had, big days or big games this year. Like we could talk about what Scadaboo was doing beforehand, but who's the other dude that's in San Diego right now? Vidal, right? Not a high round pick.
Well, the other kid that they wanted, Bashul Tootin.
That was the other one I was looking
Jacksonville.
for.
That was
That's
the
right.
one. That was they wanted 2 running backs in round 4, and I believe they went back to back. I believe Tootin and Scadabo went back to back. And then that's when the Bears bailed from pick 109 in round 4. They went like 103 and 104. Maybe I'm just guessing off the top of my head. I'm
104
positive.
and 105. Yep.
Yeah. So that was the Bears wanted one of those. I was told Tootin was
The guy.
their main target. And he's playing well for Jacksonville.
So I think, you're gonna make these moves, right? And you're gonna add these guys, but running back remains a by committee type of position in the NFL. And I understand if you have a Derrick Henry or Saquon or a Jahmyr Gibbs, it's much less that.
Yeah.
But I just listed 3 names. So if to me, it's Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, it's Derrick Henry. I think you have to put A-Chain in that list because the guy is so good.
Explosive,
And then it's everybody else.
Yeah, You're right, and that's where was the. This is the thing, Jake, and I'm glad you brought that up. If you go back and listen to us talking, I was all in on the Bears going with doubling down at running back because that was another one of my things where I was so upset on draft night when they went tight end at 10 because the depth at tight end was so good. You guys all heard me screaming for Oronde Gadsden, and he's showing that he's got a very bright future in the NFL as he plays for the Chargers. You know, guy,
Eyes all over Harold Fannin, who was looked
yeah,
really good.
yeah. It was one of those, but running back was extremely deep. Let's be honest, Cars. I mean, in a normal running back draft class, Monangai is probably at worst a 4th round pick. That's how deep it was.
It, in a normal one where the running back position also hasn't been so undervalued.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Jets. Brees Hall was all upset that the Jets didn't trade him, and it's like, unfortunately, you're a running back.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a ton of value, so that to the Jets, you might be worth a 2nd round pick, but to any other team, you're a 4th.
Right.
It's just the way that it is now, and so I don't know. Yeah, it's eh, the opposite of this. Remember, everybody was wanting Caleb Johnson, who we'll be watching this week
Yeah.
from Iowa. He has been awful
Yep. Yeah, we all loved him.
because he was so physical and
Yep.
so everything. It just hasn't worked out. It's
Yeah.
going to be an interesting one.
All right. Well, we're probably not going to go quite as long as we do normally here. Cars has a couple of things prepared for you that we'll get into before we get out of here. And for you patrons, just so everybody knows, there has been a StreamYard issue that creeped up today. And when Phil went live and was breaking down the tape, it was letting him share the all 22 and then removing it from the screen. And unfortunately, he didn't know that until after it was recorded. So he's going to be replacing the piece that is missing for you guys. If you hadn't followed along in the comments on Patreon, I just wanted to let everybody know that. But what do you got for us, Cars?
So first, let's take a look at the Steelers, which may be one of the more fascinating and overrated 6-4 teams out there. So let's just take a look at them at a high level. And I meant to say here have only held the Browns and Bengals under 300 yards of total offense. But they've only gone over the 300 yards of total offense 4 times. And some of that was the Vikings game was a Carson Wentz game with complete with tons of turnovers and Carson Wentz-like situations. They've only had one 100-yard rusher all season, and that was Jalen Warren against Cincinnati. Have not done anything else to that.
If this was the same old Bears, what would that mean for this Sunday, Cars?
Oh, I mean, it's going to mean that they're going to rush for 275, right? Like, without question. They are 3rd in sacks defensively, which is, I mean, Denver is going to set the new record this year for sacks in his
Sure
season.
seems like it. Yeah.
So them being 3rd there is something. But when you take that next step, look at that. They're 28th in yards given up in total. They're dead last in passing yards. So part of the reason why they're at 3rd in sacks is every team is going, fuck it, we can just throw against these guys. And yeah, TJ may get there, but we'll take our lumps. And it's not that their rushing defense is so much better, but it's one of those situations where your passing defense is so bad that teams aren't just running that frequently against you. And when you look at those losses, you're giving up 117 a game on the ground in those losses. And when I say, like, what a weird 6-4 team, look at who they've beaten.
Right.
And look at who they've lost to. right? So basically, anytime they beat the Patriots, but it was early on in the season, when you look at like who this is and who they have faced and who they, when they face anyone of any significance, they lose. So this is, the reason I found that important is I think Tomlin and co are still living off of a history that doesn't line up anymore. Tomlin and the Steelers really haven't been relevant in the way that they used to, probably in, I don't know, a decade almost now. So it's not, like this is not the steel curtain defense that you have
Oh
to worry
no,
about.
not at all. Right.
But Tomlin has been there since, it's crazy to think of this, since 2007.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I don't think they have won a playoff game since 2016 or 17.
And this is a game, you talk about them, their sacks. This is a game where your 24-year-old right tackle who is ascending can put a fucking chokehold on a Pro Bowl, or dare I even say an All-Pro berth. If you
Oh,
go out there and shut TJ Watt down.
if he does that, I mean that's where you're gonna look up front the
Yeah.
whole time. Absolutely, that puts the stamp that it's as far as best right tackles, young right tackles in this game.
Yep.
It's Sewell and Wright, and then everybody else.
Yeah.
And it makes sense when you look at Pittsburgh. They're paying TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, Alex Smith, Patrick Queen this year, Darius Slay, a tremendous amount of money. But I shared with you the number after this, and this is a team
Yeah.
that's going to be massively in rebuild, because next year, when they are over the cap or very close to being over the cap, they have a 116 million in cap space tied to a 32-year-old, he'll be 32 next year, TJ Watt, a 29-year-old Alex Highsmith, a 37-year-old Cam Hayward, a 32-year-old Jalen Ramsey, and a 27-year-old Patrick Queen. So that is 5 names I have just led to you that are going to basically be 50% of the salary cap for Pittsburgh next year. Just under, probably closer to about 45.
And we got people worried about 2% of DeAndre Swift.
Exactly. And by the
who's
way,
producing?
By the way, that number has no quarterback Aaron Rodgers in it. So while they sit there, they are going to be in the position where they need a quarterback. And I still think the biggest laugh I'm going to have is when they try to go get Tua or Kyler Murray for a season to figure out something to make it work.
Aaron's deal was a 1-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Amazing. And by the way, Darnell Wright just turned 24 in August. That's crazy.
That is wild when you think of like how, and again, props to Rushar, man. What a year he's having as the offensive line coach. Like he gets a lot of kudos for that as a moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So Darnell just turned 24 in August, and Caleb just turned 24 2 days ago.
Yeah.
That's
insane.
It is. It really is.
The other thing, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The very definitely not married Aaron Rodgers. So it's been an interesting year, and if you watch any of his games, he is uncomfortable, and he's hit that point where you saw this happen with Peyton Manning. It never really happened to Tom Brady to the same degree, but Aaron just doesn't want to be hit anymore. So sure, he's only been sacked 19 times, but he's got the third fastest time to throw in the NFL. He's averaging his second lowest, I believe, yards per attempt in his career, while his interception percentage is the second highest. By the way, that highest number came in his first year of actually starting at 2.5%.
Wow.
67% of his passing yards come after the catch. And you'll see why that's such a crazy stat below, but like second place is almost a full 10% lower than Aaron. So everything is coming after.
It's a good day for us not to have any healthy linebackers, right?
I mean, exactly.
Jesus.
His average depth of target is the second shortest among all quarterbacks in the NFL.
Who's the first?
It's JJ.
Is it? Oh, is it?
I think it is JJ,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly.
I knew it was either going to be him or Justin.
Oh, good God. I think, you know what? It might be Justin. I basically see that name and I blank out now. But I think what's interesting is you have to realize that I think he's got just about 300 pass attempts on the season. 67 of them have gone for or been intended to be thrown for over 10 yards.
And this is the thing, Cars. We know this dude. You know he's going to try to do something to be the Aaron of old. Right? In Soldier Field, he's gonna try to turn back the clock on a play or two so he can have his I still fucking own you moment. You know it's coming.
And the thing about that is I don't disagree, but he's only got DK. You know, one of the weirdest things about Aaron has always been his refusal, for the most part, in leveraging a good tight end. And you look at like Freiermuth's numbers are down. And you have to remember, this is a team right now that next year will be paying Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, two tight ends, both north of $10 million. But he doesn't use them. So everything is like it's DK or nothing. It's DK or nothing. And I understand that Darnell Washington had a massive big boy run the other day.
Did you see him on the St. Brown podcast?
Mm-mm.
So Amon Ra says to him, he's like, bro, how much do you weigh? And he's like, oh, I haven't been on a scale in a minute. And Amon Ra's brother, Equanimous, says, bro, you're in the NFL. You weigh in every week. And he starts laughing. He goes, how much is it? Guess how much he weighs?
275.
311.
That is insane.
311 pounds. That came right from Darnell.
I love that
I'm not going to lie.
It.
311 pounds. Tight end. Yeah.
And so so I think, yes, I have that worry. And I think we both know that it will be some sort of shot to DK Metcalf for sure. But I don't think he's got it to that fuck you degree anymore because
I just don't try.
No, I totally get it. But
I feel it in my bones. He's even if he knows that he can't do it, he cannot hold himself back. Did you see the interview when he's talking about Soldier Field? And hey, listen, I'm not playing for the Packers anymore. You know, they should let bygones be bygones. He's setting shit up he's going to try. I'm telling you. And I hope they make the motherfucker pay. I do.
I think he will. You know, it's interesting is his time in the Jets, I think truly deflated him in a way that he was, because I think he just expected that he was gonna go there and turn them around. And
just like Brett did.
Yeah. But I think when you look at it and you go, like, no one's been able to, I make the joke, but no one has seen him with a woman. nobody has any idea of who the wife would be.
Well, even the players' wives came out. Did you see that?
No.
They're like, yeah, we've made every attempt, to include, and to include her in, what we're doing and what we're involved in, pregame and postgame, and there's nothing. We've never even seen her.
Might be his ayahuasca shaman down in Africa for during his darkness retreats. That is who he's married to.
I love balls.
I worry, and I get the worry, but I just think that Father Time has caught up with him quite a bit. I think
Catches us all.
I think I think that that Achilles injury
Yeah. Oh yeah.
just really ruined the rest of it. Now, me saying that, I'm staying true to my thing of not expecting the Bears to win this game until they do.
Yep.
Do I think they should win this game? Absolutely. Do I think that they should go out and drop 30 plus points? Yes, but Tomlin is going to try. I did love the video of him trotting out Reese Myers to try to be like, oh, he's going to be our Caleb guy. Yeah, good luck.
Yeah, that was awkward.
But I don't necessarily fear Aaron anymore. I fear TJ Watt.
Yep.
But I don't, and some of the bigger name players who aren't at the same level anymore. TJ's still very good, but he's not as dominant as he used to be. He's still a plus player. So understand that I'm not taking anything away from that, but this is a guy that I told Shane before the show, when I say that 116 million is tied up into 5 players, 42 of it goes to TJ Watt next year.
Yeah, that's
and by the way, they can't trade him because his dead cap
He's
number,
not saying 42 million. He's saying 42%.
No, 42 million is
or
his
42
cap
million. You're right. Yeah.
Talking other way backwards. Around. You got it.
Yeah, other way around. Yeah.
But his dead cap number
million.
is 94 million next year.
Man.
And so when you look at that, like
42 million at 32 years old.
And pass rushers are often a cliff too because of where they come in, and TJ has been banged up because of the way he's one of my favorite pass rushers of all time. Like just in the way that his motor is. As much as I love JJ and thought he was really good, TJ is a whole nother level as a pass rusher. Like just insane. But if you just kind of look at it, you go, man, I don't want to. Can you imagine having all your eggs in him and 37-year-old Cam Hayward? And I like Alex Highsmith, but he's also overpaid because he is doing what he's doing outside of TJ and Cam.
And the worst part about it all, Cars, is like what you brought up is they're going to be in the market for a cast-off quarterback again because they're not really going to have an avenue to one.
Oh, no.
That's oof.
And look, their offensive line is not good.
Nope.
I mean,
hasn't been for a while, yeah.
Broderick Jones has not really been.
Thanks, Ryan Cox.
Oh, God.
He drafted him to the Bears for us in our Patron mock draft.
But when you kind of go through it and you go, what? So, your running backs are Jalen Warren and Kenneth Gainwell. Your wide receivers are DK Metcalf and hell if I know. You got 3 tight ends. What do you expect to win next year? Or how do you expect to win next year? You're going to need a big name quarterback and like 3 or 4 offensive linemen. And you are going to be strapped with cap to be able to do it. So this is their year. They're going to be their last year that they can really compete. And the only reason that they're competing this year is because the AFC North can't stay healthy.
They might have to trade their 2nd round pick for Tyson Bagent.
Oh, I mean, like that's you're not joking, but it's very possible, right?
Well, if you
Because
want to stay somewhat relevant,
and you don't want to go pay 20, 30, 50
yeah,
million dollars to do so. Absolutely.
yeah. So, well, Cars, what is your prediction and bold prediction for the game?
So I will just say I have us losing 24-20. My bold prediction is that Luther goes for over 100 yards and
Nice.
actually gets two receiving touchdowns on the day.
That part would be great. The loss would definitely suck, but like you said,
It's just
you
the
got
way
to
I am. I
respect the
can't.
prove it mode. Yep.
I can't. To their credit, they keep proving it. But I think what's interesting, Shane, is and something that you and I have to think about is if the Bears go out and win on Sunday and they sit there at 8-3, expectations change.
Oh yeah.
They've already been changing, but this is going to go from like they could make the playoffs to they damn well better make the
Yeah.
playoffs. And so this is going to
Let's
add a
go.
whole new level of expectations. It's going to add a whole new level of pressure. And when you sit down and you go from there and it's Philly, Green Bay, Cleveland, Green Bay, San Francisco, Detroit, like if the Bears win this at 8-3, it's not unusual to see that they could go 2-4 in over the last 6.
Yeah. And I
And
mean, so you're getting Philly with no Lane Johnson. The Packers game in Lambeau has been shifted to 4:25 p.m.
mhm,
Into that spot. So it's man,
you're going to face
it
a very injured 49ers team. You're going to face a very bad Cleveland Browns team who will, at that point, uh, I'm going to be happy to be at that game to
yeah.
watch Shadur Sanders up close and see what all this fuss has been about.
Too bad you've only known about it for a handful of days. I've known about it since August, but
Listen,
that's for another show.
my wife doesn't like me anymore, which I can't blame her. So she told you before she told me. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not salty or upset about that whatsoever. I do
Nope.
think it'll be interesting to see, like,
Yeah.
if we win this, the expectations don't just like every win has been this like minuscule expectation change. You get to 8-3, it is full bore. We got to go win this fucking thing.
Right.
We got to go win the North, and we've
That's
got
why
to
it's so critical. I just don't know why they're fucking sitting on this pass rush and not attempting it.
because they
It's
don't care about this year. If they
yeah.
get to the playoffs,
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing. I mean, you could still do it and make an attempt for this week. I don't know.
I'm
I hope you're right, Cars. I hope we go out, punch them in the mouth, and they go out and at least make an attempt to get it better, because
I think
it's so barren.
I think what you're gonna see, and it's starting a little bit, is you're just gonna see the I think a lot more Austin Booker.
Yeah,
And look, I understand it wasn't necessarily tremendous this last week, but he from that position offers something a lot different than
yeah,
anybody else. And you're talking about someone, I mean, he was there for 93% of the snaps, but he also played 93% of the snaps because there was no one else friggin' healthy. Like Dominique Robinson started to come in a little bit. He's returning. Tryon Shoyinka only played 3. Shoyinka, I don't know how to say anybody's name anymore. You just there's not enough depth there. They're gonna have to get some folks moving. But yeah, I'm with you. They gotta. I'm surprised. We've talked about this all year. I'm surprised they have not made a really any significant move, and I'm still super pissed off that they didn't go after Jalen.
Yeah, and that's I hear you, and it's Cars. I still go back to the day the waiver claims came in, and the move was for a fourth string middle linebacker and Jalen Jones. When I'm not saying that any of these guys could have made the difference, but it wasn't, man. You should have been recycling these guys all year at the bottom end of this roster, and Ryan Poles has flat refused to do it, and I would just hate to see them go out and let Aaron Rodgers rediscover the fountain of youth and have him put one on you in Soldier Field just because you can't get after him. And I know he's not the same guy, but still, I do worry about that.
I hold out hope that if the injuries are what they are, I have a weird sensation that Carl Jones Jr. could have a really good game.
I'm a fan. Yes, Davis Mills. The
neck.
Yeah, but one of the most important players in Chicago Bears history. I still will never forget watching that game live with Ivan.
If I'm feeling down, all I need to do is watch the 4th and 20 plays and be like, I'm good.
We lost our fucking minds live, man. It was so great. But anyways, we're gonna wrap it up here. DDP did just text me, and surprise, surprise, we will have a surprise for you, TTNL Network patrons, tomorrow night. DDP and Coach O will be firing up the telestrator and redoing the breakdown of Bears versus Vikings for you all. We will have some more on that later, but Coach O will be coming back and talking a little bit of Bears tomorrow night. Sunday, like always, Ivan will have the pregame, him and Big Steve, and the 606 guys pregame. TTNL will go live at halftime to recap the first half, and then we go live on BHL as soon as the game is final. Bears versus Steelers. Let's get to 8-3, man. It's exciting, dude. We got a quarterback. We're in first place. We've got exciting
talent,
head coach, and talent to spare. Yeah,
all over the offense.
Yeah, man,
what an embarrassment of riches, which is something we've never been able to say. We've always been like, ironically, this is the first year that I feel like we don't have 48 linebackers in a long time that we could play, but we have 5 wideouts.
Exactly.
that can.
All right, we're out of here. This is the end of Cars Keys Season 4, Episode 62.
Just the end of Cars Keys in general. Yeah, it's
we'll be back next week.
Not next week, the week after.
Never getting rid of us. They
They
even gave us a Thanksgiving background here that we can't see. But all right, we will see you guys later. Go Bears. Let's get to 8-3 and kick the shit out of Aaron Rodgers and set the fucking tone.